A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a move that has ignited fierce debate across the nation, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at barring transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports. The order, signed on Wednesday, mandates that federal funding will be withheld from educational institutions that permit trans girls and women to participate in female sports or access female locker rooms. This directive has drawn sharp criticism from LGBTQ rights groups, who argue that it undermines the rights and identities of transgender individuals. Trump's executive order further instructs government agencies to advocate for sex-based female sports categories in international organizations and to engage with major athletic bodies to promote policies deemed fair and safe for female athletes. In his statement, Trump declared, "We are putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice. If you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding." Title IX, a federal law enacted in 1972, prohibits sex discrimination in educational programs and activities. The president emphasized his administration's commitment to ending what he described as a war on women's sport, asserting that his government would not tolerate men beating and battering female athletes. He also called upon the International Olympic Committee to endorse sex-based participation policies before the upcoming 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, stating, "We want them to change everything having to do with the Olympics and having to do with this absolutely ridiculous subject." The participation of trans women in sports has become a contentious issue in the ongoing culture wars in the United States, despite the relatively small number of athletes involved. According to NCAA President Charlie Baker, there are fewer than 10 trans athletes competing among the 520,000 collegiate athletes nationwide. Public opinion appears to be shifting, with a 2023 Gallup poll indicating that 69% of Americans believe trans athletes should only compete against individuals of the same sex. This marks a notable increase in opposition compared to previous years, particularly following high-profile controversies involving athletes such as Leah Thomas, who made headlines after winning the NCAA Division I national championship in 2022 before facing restrictions from World Aquatics. Baker welcomed Trump's executive order, suggesting it establishes a clear, national standard that could help alleviate the confusion caused by differing state laws and court rulings. The NCAA Board of Governors is reviewing the executive order and will take necessary steps to align NCAA policy in the coming days, subject to further guidance from the administration, he stated. However, advocacy groups such as Athlete Ally expressed deep disappointment, stating that the order denies trans youth the opportunity to engage in sports authentically. "We've known this day was likely to occur for a long time," the group said, highlighting the administration's tendency to oversimplify complex issues while marginalizing vulnerable communities. GLAAD, a prominent LGBTQ rights organization, also condemned Trump's actions, labeling them inaccurate and incoherent. They emphasized that all women, including transgender individuals, should have the right to participate in sports and make decisions about their bodies without fear of discrimination. The organization criticized anti-LGBTQ politicians for lacking credibility in discussions about protecting women and girls, pointing out their history of undermining rights and healthcare access. Trump's latest executive order is not an isolated incident. Since his inauguration, he has signed multiple orders targeting transgender individuals, including measures to restrict military service and defund gender transition treatments for minors. As the nation grapples with these developments, the conversation surrounding transgender rights in sports continues to evolve, with advocates vowing to fight for inclusivity and acceptance in athletic spaces. With the executive order set to impact countless athletes and educational institutions, the implications of this policy shift will undoubtedly resonate throughout the sporting world and beyond. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.